All right.
Delightful.
All right, folks. Let's go. Hello. All right.
Is that the voice you're doing?
Hello and welcome to a Stardust Here.
No, it's not the voice you're doing.
Oh boy!
All right, no, for real now. Hello and welcome to a Stardust Here. Hello and welcome to a Stardust Steer by Star Trek podcast. My name's Jake, and I'm joined by
Chris,
Ames,
And Caitlin.
and welcome to Stardust Steer by a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jake.
Oh no!
I'm Caitlin.
He's stuck on the loop again!
No! This is episode 82.
Woo!
Star Trek.
A Star Trek podcast.
This week, we're going to be talking
Jake.
about two very sexy episodes. It's bondage and boobies on Star Trek. The first episode we're talking about is the bonding. The bonding. Whips, chains, straps,
Handcuffs.
Cats.
fists.
what?
Gerbils?
Eh?
Didn't Ludacris have a song where he's like, whips and chains, handcuffs, and then he talks about lots of role-playing sex?
All I remember about...
What's your fantasy? Remember that song?
I don't remember that particular... No. Ludacris had like a lot of songs about driving cars. That's
Did
all
he?
I remember. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I
always
just know
like,
about this
the
one
car
about sex.
is-
Move,
penis.
bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch!
Get out the way! That's a solid song.
What happens in this week's episodes?
Well, I only named one of them.
Oh,
the
yeah.
other one was the Booby Trap,
I think it's just Booby Trap.
Boing.
the Parent Trap,
Starring Lindsay Lohan.
Lolly Lindley.
She used to have nice tits before she did all that cocaine.
She was like 8 in that movie, dude.
I didn't mean in that movie.
My
I
God.
meant when she
well,
was...
we're talking about the Parent Trap, and you're like, man, Lindsay Lohan used to be hot. What the fuck? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's gross. Thanks. Thank you.
She was hot in Freaky Friday when she was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis actually is really hot.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I
don't think anybody would disagree that Jamie Lee Curtis is hot.
I think a lot of people probably would.
Really?
Yeah. I think of her as
You know
being...
that hermaphrodite stuff? That's just that's a vicious rumor. That's not true.
I mean, I've heard that, but I mean,
Everyone's
or
heard
rather,
that.
I know. No, what I mean is, I know that it's not true. But what I mean is, she's kind of like, she's a little like on the androgynous side for some people. I think.
Like that Annie Lennox sort of thing.
Yeah, or like David Bowie, or what's the one? I love that song. What was that? The one who was in Doctor Strange, the woman who's very, very...
Tilda Swinton.
That's it. She's very androgynous. And also
Well, she's
gorgeous.
She's an alien.
She has a weird face.
She's an
though.
alien
Like, she's not
face.
just androgynous. She has like a bone
She might be a
structure.
Telosian.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying she's unattractive. I just think she's got a look.
Yeah, she
If
does.
she and
and
Doug
that
Jones
look is
hooked
alien
up.
for sure. Holy shit.
Giant alien babies. Well, speaking
I
of
would pay
giant
money
alien
for
babies,
that. Yes.
Well, I wouldn't make Doug Jones.
I
see his
haven't even
wife,
done the
so.
fucking descriptions yet. So let's do
No,
that.
you haven't. This is going to take another half a fucking hour.
We're gonna bang through these, banging. All right, in the
Let's start with the
bonding,
bondage
there's an away team down on a planet where a war happened, and there's an explosion.
Are you sure you're not talking about the other one?
That's true. They're both about ancient wars, but on this one, that's on a planet, and there's an away team, and Worf's in charge, and there's an explosion, and a lady dies, and they get up to the
What's her
ship.
name? Astor?
Astor, Jacob Astor, Jeremy Astor, Jacob Astor.
John Jacob Jingleheimer
Jacob Astor
Schmidt.
was like a philanthropist.
Okay, you're
Or
off track already.
industrialist or something. I don't know. So, so lady dies. Astor. Hardly know her. Anyway, so Astor dies. They find out she has a boy.
Both Jake and Chris and I are just shaking our heads.
So she has a little boy. So the boy lost his mother. That's sad. He already lost his father. That's sad. Wesley also lost his father. Not as sad.
But no, did he though?
But it comes up. But it does come up. So anyway,
It comes up because he's young. He doesn't have any control over that
So they're
yet.
trying to figure out what went wrong with this
Yeah,
planet. Turns out that this planet had 2 species living on it. One were a bunch of corporeal assholes. One were a bunch of non-corporeal
Assholes.
Well-intentioned, assholes.
but they just didn't understand shit. So the non-corporeal ones, they're like, oh man, we are the wars, the weapons of our ancient war war. It was a landmine that got him. You know, they orphaned this child, so we should recreate his mother for him. So they do that. And then, they're dealing with death and stuff. So, you know, in the end, the boy does have to come to terms with the fact that his mom's dead and that Worf's his dad now.
Yeah.
Because that's how...
They do sort of deal with death in, like, the most dramatic way possible.
Yes,
This
right.
poor fucking kid.
Oh, this poor kid, yeah, but we'll get to him.
We will.
One more, Jake.
One more.
What's next, Jake?
Hit it
So,
right out of the
on
park.
Booby Trap, there's this ancient war. And
you mean that's the first one again?
shit. In Booby Trap, they're in this battlefield for this ancient war where there was the last battle that destroyed 2 species. And it was like 1,000 years ago. Ancient shit. And they find that there's an intact ship from this...
Belongs in a museum.
Yeah, it belongs in a museum.
I thought of you when I fucking heard that line, Chris.
So
Does Chris belong in a museum?
Yes. He's that old.
So they do. They find that there's this ship, and Picard, of course, gets an archaeology boner and beams over there. And they find, like, the captain's log and some bodies, and it's pretty cool. So then they beam back to the Enterprise, and they're like, the power, something's wrong with the power. It's like a power outage. Turns out that there's some stuff hidden in this debris field that's a trap. And it's draining the energy from the Enterprise. And anytime the Enterprise tries to fly away, they just ends up sucking more energy. Now, at the same time it's sucking the energy out of the Enterprise, it's also bombarding the Enterprise with this dangerous radiation shit. So everyone's going to die, just like the people in the other ship, the 1,000-year-old ship. So who better to solve this problem than Geordi the LaForge? You guys missed that.
I got it.
Okay, good.
No, I heard it.
No, I think you missed it. And by it, I mean the mark.
That was a funny joke.
I liked it.
Thank
You've
you,
done
Chris.
better.
You have done better. But it was good, Jake. It was
Okay.
good. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Jake,
so-
tell it
so-
again. I'm ready.
If you're hearing any weird noises in the background, by the
it's
way,
'cause
it's
they're
because
playing with the
Caitlin
cats.
is taunting a
You're
cat.
playing with the cats instead
I
of
wasn't
paying attention to
taunting
me.
the cat. I heard you. Geordi the LaForge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good joke. I liked it.
Thank you. All right. Shut up, cat. Okay. So anyway, the Forge. He goes. He's trying to fix the problem.
It's getting funnier.
But he's anyway. So he's trying to solve the problem, and he thinks that he can do it by fucking around with the engine.
Literally.
But he can't.
Yeah.
But he can't figure out how to make it work on his own. So he has to employ his team of extremely well trained and smart engineers. Just kidding. He goes on the holodeck for a wank. So no, he goes to the holodeck, draws up this image of one of the designers of the ship. And-
Leah Abrams.
No,
Nope.
Brahms.
Brahms. What
the
did I
new-
say? Abrams?
Abrams.
Is Abrams a, what do you call it? Anagram of Brahms?
No.
Close.
J.J. Abrams did the first 2 Kelvin movies.
That's
You know
the
what an
one.
anagram is?
Yeah.
Is it an anagram? No, he directed the Kelvin movies, asshole.
No, I know.
Oh, excuse me.
You're saying that means why you're thinking Abrams.
Please leave that in, though. No, Brahms. Yeah, you're right. Sorry,
Oh,
Leah
all
Brahms.
All right, Leah Brahms. So Leah Brahms, she's a total babe, right? But here's the thing. She's a cold fish, all right? Geordi's in there. He's trying to get his groove on, and she's just like all robotic and shit. So he's like, hey, computer, can you make her a little more thirsty for me? and just like that.
Can you give me a reasonable approximation of a thirsty Leah Brahms? There will be a 9% margin for error. That's okay. I can work with
I
that.
can work with that. I can work with that.
I think he actually literally says
He
that,
does, he
right?
It
did.
does.
Yeah.
Where's the source material? Her porn tapes?
Evidently, so he makes her personality. Needless to say, they figure out how to save the ship. It turns out it's not technology; it's the human heart or something. Picard does it.
Go planet.
Picard doesn't have a human heart!
That's true.
Oh shit! What a quandary.
So they get out of the minefield, and Geordi and the hologram.
Out of the minefield and into the mines. Am I right?
Geordi and the hologram's like, every time you fuck this ship, you're fucking me.
I remember her saying that. I thought it was a little weird.
Every fucking line was innuendo, and I was like, wow,
weird,
this
yeah.
is really clear.
Yeah.
Maybe it really was from a porn tape. That would explain all the really horribly, like, not subtle. Oh, I didn't order any pizza. Oh, my money's in the kitchen.
Caitlin, I think you were watching the wrong episode.
Actually,
Anyway.
no, that begs the question. Since it's a post...
Are there still pizza delivery porns?
Well, yeah, because it's a post-scarcity society. It's like, oh no, I forgot my money. This doesn't cost anything, ma'am.
Here's what it is.
Let's go another way.
Here's what it is. You go up to they go up to the replicator and like, replicator, replicate me a pizza. And the replicator's like, you want big pepperoni on that pizza? Yes, please. And then it just replicates a dick.
This pizza's got a big sausage.
What the fuck was the bonding even about? I have
The
forgotten.
bonding was about death.
Right.
They did it.
That's pretty good.
They did a really nice job
No,
dealing
they did.
with the
They
theme
did.
of death.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, except
They
for the part-
traumatized that boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, except for the part where that poor fucking kid gets mind fucked by a fucking, fake mom. For
Yeah,
the
I
whole
just
episode.
sort of imagine it's like, because he got the aunt and uncle back on Earth. So like the next Starbucks they get to, Jean-Luc just like shoves him into a transport. It's like, good luck, and he gets sent back to Earth, and he's got like a fucking note like safety pinned to his shirt
with
and
a
it's like,
$20 bill.
yeah. It's like, dear Mr. and Mrs. This kid's aunt and uncle. He's super fucked up now. Best of luck. I didn't feel like dealing with him. X's and O's. Picard.
See, but he never gets there because he becomes Charlie X.
Actually-
The Phasians take hold of him.
What's one? Yeah, this kind of. This is like the first chapter of Charlie X, isn't it?
Don't
It's
you
basically
sort
his
of
story.
feel like so it was
very
okay
true.
good because I had this like very Charlie X feeling throughout.
Well, because that was the story,
Yeah,
right? Is that
raised by incorporeal
he
beings.
was Charlie was
Yeah.
was
Holy
an
shit.
orphan who was raised by aliens that didn't understand. Oh, you can't just have everything.
Yeah, and that's, yeah. And that was the funny part, too, when they're like, Picard's explaining all their responsibilities to him. Like, he just sat down with a child. He was like, I want a puppy! And it's like, well, it's not that easy now, is it?
But like it was great like watching her face go from like we can do it to being like I have friends and a wife and a job and a career and
Yeah.
school. Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's really...
But if I walk him and feed him, can I keep him?
Aww.
No.
So that was good.
I promise I'll scoop his poop.
Well, he knows how to use a toilet.
And can I say the most remarkable thing about this episode, like the thing that really floored me, Troy did her job.
Troy did
Yeah.
her job like,
She like
whoa.
did some work.
They
Yeah.
cut a long scene. It's available on the internet somewhere. I won't show this one to you because it's mostly Troy talking. But no, they cut a really long scene of her like therapying hard. And she was like doing her job, and a lot of people commented seeing this cut scene, being like, "Why did you cut this? It shows Troy being useful. You never see that."
She did it. She did pretty well in this episode.
Yeah, I did kind of love, though, that when she therapied Worf, it was like in the therapy cage or something. What was that?
It was in the
That was
computer core.
Okay, what were they doing in the computer
That's what I
core?
asked.
no.
I think it's just they had the set.
It's because it looked really cool, and I actually like some of the different like camera
Yeah, they
techniques
did like
they
a
were
weird
doing.
like shooting through a grate.
Yeah, I mean, it looked
Yeah.
cool, but it was just like, what is this? What is
Worf is like,
happening?
oh, you want to have conversations? Let's just get in whatever the nearest room is out of this hallway.
Worf,
and go.
here's why. Worf was sulking down there because that is the nearest place where a genocide had occurred in recent memory. When what's his fuck shot the nanites.
Yeah.
And Worf feels better around battlefields.
True.
There you go. There's an explanation.
I wish I could die like your mom.
Yeah, that's
Worf is not a good
I was
therapist.
gonna say,
Not a lot of
he's not great with kids. That guy.
They wanted
Or cats.
They wanted to drag Wesley in to therapize this kid too, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Wesley himself needs more therapy.
That's the
Look at
thing.
him.
He's clearly not fully
Yeah.
over the trauma, so like it was
Right.
just like
And think about that. Wesley had a reasonable experience, like presumably no incorporeal.
There it is.
Non-corporeal. Incorporeal is not a word. That's why it wasn't working.
Bodiless.
What I'm trying to say is, Wesley didn't even have any non-corporeal beings like magicking his dad back to life, and he's still fucked 10 years later. This kid is going to be so much worse than Wesley.
yeah, no, he's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he'll get his mind zapped.
Oh yeah.
Times.
I mean,
have
it
that,
doesn't
don't they?
always work though.
They'll
Yeah.
just get Pulaski to pull the memory of his mother out.
Yep.
Fine.
Oh, that's too many. Then he'll just have nothing left.
And then he'll become Charlie X.
Yeah, they cut another scene where you actually saw the other kids in the classroom
laughing at him because his mom was dead.
No, they pull him away, and the teacher saying, "Oh, they want to talk with you over there right now." And you saw all the other kids wearing their bright fucking fluorescent colors because that's what kids wear in the future.
I mean, it was the 80s.
Who fucking knows? But you actually saw there are lots more kids on this ship instead of when we only get to see Jeremy in this episode.
Which as Picard points out. What a stupid idea this is.
What?
Having families and kids on a starship.
The thing is, Marla wants to do her job. Marla Astor, Jeremy's mother.
Yeah.
Wants to do her job. How else is she going to get out into the reaches of space where she can, do her archaeology bullshit and get killed various ways?
No, just one way.
Yeah, unless she left Jeremy at home on Earth or some shit.
Well, yeah, I think that's what Picard is advocating.
Parkour?
Hardcore parkour. I think that's what Picard is advocating. He's like, listen, this is dangerous work out here.
And women belong in the home.
She'd die anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
He just wouldn't... He wouldn't be the one having to deal with it.
Yes, exactly. That's the real thing. It's like, can someone else tell him? No, it has to be.
Worf offers, and he says, "No, go ahead, Worf. This is my job."
Yeah.
Should have just let Worf. Granted, Worf would screw him up even more.
Well, you know why though? Because Picard actually likes making children cry. The hard part for him is not giggling while it's happening. You see.
See, if you sent Worf. Before he even said anything, he just would have stormed up to Jeremy and then done that, death scream.
We learned about that in class.
Oh, no.
As he runs away, shitting himself, because that would be terrifying.
So he doesn't know how to use the toilet.
Shitting himself. Nice. Good job. It's nice, Ames. You did good. You did really good there.
I did a good job.
You did.
But yeah, no,
unlike Jeremy.
It was nice to finally have someone, 3 seasons in, actually acknowledge, having families on this ship seems stupid.
Yeah, this script, sat on the pile for a while, too, because the writer Ronald D. Moore, who will write a bunch more episodes and do a bunch more things, got a tour one day and left his script with one of Roddenberry's assistants, who tossed it on the pile, and it stayed on the pile until Michael Piller, who's basically our new script editor, something? I should have looked this up. He came on and was looking through being like, well, I'm the new boy in town and there are no scripts being done. What's in the pile? And he liked this one a lot.
And thankfully that was one of the few ones that hadn't yet been used to burn for fireworks.
So this is Ronald Moore's first script on the show, and honestly, thank fucking God that he showed up, because he writes some of the best episodes of this show. He's the showrunner, I believe, on DS9, and he writes most of the episodes. He created and wrote a ton of episodes for Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought he was.
So he's
gets out of the box.
He's a fucking superstar.
I gotta admit, too, thank goodness they let it sit on the pile, because if they had done it earlier, Hurley or Roddenberry would have gotten their claws into this and ruined it.
Probably.
First of all, instead of a ship's archaeologist, she would have been ship's stripper.
I was going to say a stripper. I was thinking.
I don't know, fucking Hurley would have added in some awful
cocksucker
bullshit.
in chief.
So really, this is perfect timing. It's like the show's starting to get its shit together. Let's do a genuinely well put together thing about death that won't have gratuitous sex or random bullshit added by Roddenberry or Hurley.
Oh, Roddenberry did do a thing to this script.
God damn it!
In that the original script, Jeremy would have gone onto the holodeck and recreated his mother there and interacted with it and stuff as I guess this is how my mom can still exist. I don't know. This kid needed fucking therapy, and Troy wasn't in the room. But Roddenberry said that, nope, kids would accept death better than this, let's not do that. And then they came up with the alien thing instead.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually was beneficial then.
That made it a sci-fi story instead of just a kid.
And instead of just
it's the danger of the holodeck, though. The holodeck becomes a crutch.
Well, we're going to have so many fucking holodecks.
Yeah, but we don't know that yet. Right now we haven't
already had so many fucking holodecks.
It this way, I don't know, it had a little more involvement. It was a little more, I can see how that episode would have worked, but I feel like it worked better this way.
Well, especially because he thinks this is real. Like,
Yeah.
if he had gone into the holodeck to recreate it, he may have eventually, like, fooled himself into thinking it was real, but in the beginning, he would be completely cognizant that he was making up bullshit.
Yeah.
And he would be forced to face that fact, as opposed to, like, someone showing up and just fucking up his life by pretending to be his mom for a while. Like, how fucked up is that?
He did get his kitty cat back, and I was very excited that there was a kitty cat the whole time.
Oh, Patches and his very generic cat sounds.
So so was Patches not allowed on the ship, or did Patches also die?
Yeah, probably also dead, just because this kid's background isn't sad enough.
Yeah.
Patches also stepped on a landmine.
Patches actually was snagged when the Borg took the ship, so there's just a Borg cat running around.
I'm okay with that.
Kitty.
One thing I thought was odd was that, so, hours after this kid's mother died, he's just left alone in his room.
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
was
point.
thinking
I'm
that
thinking,
too.
like, I don't think that's what you should do. I think he should probably be, like, around people.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, like, this would be one situation where Picard would be like, Data, you want to learn more about humans?
Yeah.
And Data would really
Go watch this boy
I
cry.
figure, like, Troy would be spending time with him, or...
No, Troy's got a lot of people she's got to therapize on this ship.
And she's got to get the dick. Don't forget about the dick.
Her daily daily visit to Wesley is coming up. It's every so often.
It's right before Worf tucks him in.
Yeah, I was going to say, she doesn't have a daily standing meeting like the Worf tuck-in. It's probably just like a bi-weekly thing.
Man, if he gets one more orphan or pseudo-orphan child under his wing, they can start doing mixed doubles tennis.
Who?
Worf, Wesley, and Aster, and just whatever his new one is.
Boy.
I did. That was kind of a thing for him, the boy. It's like, no, Wesley's the boy. This needs to be somebody else.
He's just boy.
There we go.
Not the boy.
Boy? What is boy?
Boy, what is boy?
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting episode. There was some fun stuff.
Yeah, I like the vanishing effect when Mommy and the room came in and out of existence a couple times. That looked pretty good.
This wasn't the one with Guinan, was it?
No,
it's the next
she's
one.
the next one.
That's right.
She couldn't have been in this one because she could have just fixed everything way too quickly.
That's true.
Come here, little Aster. This is called alcohol.
Synthahol.
Yes.
I thought it was a good episode, though.
Yeah,
I
it was.
enjoyed it. Like I said, I felt so bad for this kid.
Yeah.
I was a little curious how much time had passed through this episode, and like what stage of grief that he was supposed to be at. Because Troy comes in and she's like, "I'm worried about Jeremy. He's not at this stage of grief yet." I'm like, "It's been a couple of hours, maybe, or has it been longer?"
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It felt like it was, still the same day, but you're right. I guess, some time must have gone by.
But no, that's what I thought, too. And then I'm like, later they alluded to it being the same day.
Are they still at that planet, and that's why the creatures are there?
Yeah. That's why the creatures are there. So, it sounds like the creatures were living on the planet. They're non-corporeal, so you can't...
The Koinonians.
But the weapon that killed Aster was like a mine.
Pepper shaker. Oh, yes?
Yes. Butt plug.
Fisting?
Ball.
Yeah, the impression I was the non-corporeal beings weren't involved in the war.
They were kind of like what's his nut from the Survivors, where they stayed out of it.
Yeah, they just kind of
and
lived
then felt
there.
bad after they realized, fuck, we should have intervened.
Yeah.
Dang it!
Maybe they should have. So after somebody got killed, then they turn off all the landmines.
Yeah, you really think they would have done that earlier?
I
They probably weren't expecting company ever.
Yeah.
Well, and also they're non-corporeal. They're not going to accidentally step on the shit, are they?
I liked the effect of their spirits flying around the ship.
Yeah, that's pretty well
That
done.
was cool.
Attacking
It
people.
got 2 security guards to do a great butt land.
You know what else I appreciated was I feel like this was a way better version of stuff they were trying and failing miserably to say with Star Trek V, where Kirk is all...
I need my pain?
Yeah. Where, no, Kirk, you're talking about not dealing with pain. Whereas this is more like pain is a part of human existence, and confronting it and getting over it is all part of what makes us who we are. It's part of our makeup.
Human.
Yeah, whereas Kirk was just like, I'm gonna be a grumpy man who doesn't acknowledge feelings. Blah. So I feel like they got it right this time.
Every time I think of David, I have to make myself forget again. Because only every other movie do you remember he existed once.
I think...
And those are the bad ones, I reckon. 3 and 5? Yeah. Yep, those are the bad ones.
No,
So-
he comes up in 6 a lot.
He's in 3. That's when he dies.
I'll never forget.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's
for
the
death
one.
of my boy.
That's the one good thing about the third movie. I'm just kidding. No offense to David.
Offense to the third movie, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, speaking of dealing with death and processing death and things like that, I think something that this episode handled, which was really the point of the episode, should have probably been addressed in Skin of Evil about Yar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when Data was saying that he... Or... Go on.
How well
Sorry.
did you know the deceased?
Well, there was like that. I mean, there was a lot of...
Data loved Yar.
There was just a lot... There were a lot of feelings, and I feel like in Skin of Evil, we got a 2-minute scene at the end of the episode on the Windows 98 desktop.
Yeah.
Still brought a tear to my eye, which I wasn't expecting, though.
Yeah, but I feel like we never got to see the crew really dealing with Yar.
Yeah,
like
true.
it was sort of like, okay, we have this 2-minute funeral scene,
Yeah, I think
and
they were
then the
just
next
trying...
next week off to the next adventure.
They were just
died
trying to
like
get
she-
rid of her.
I know,
she died like
but
she lived.
I don't know. I feel
not
like there was a
dealing
real
with-
missed opportunity. And seeing how they handled it in this episode with a character we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Nobody but Data really liked her. You know? That's the thing.
I mean,
Worf liked her. Worf tried to bet all his money on her.
yeah, that's right.
And that fighting machine.
All right, nobody liked her but Worf and Data.
But that's again, just comes down to the issue is that was a season 1 episode, and the writing was still shit, mostly.
But it does show you how the show has grown.
It's a great example of there. And I think that was a good, that was actually a really good, because sometimes those Data conversations are always kind of a crapshoot. Sometimes a bit like, oh, Data, come and let me explain, blah, blah. I thought this was handled really well.
You're so close to being a real boy, yet every week we have to teach you a new thing about being a human.
But this question of, like...
Have you tried stand-up comedy?
No, but why do you ask? I also just thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah.
That was clever. That was very good.
Yeah, like, he was
I'm
asking...
surprised he'd never been asked that kind of thing before or seen it asked, but...
Yeah.
Well, everybody already knew how well he knew Tasha.
But yeah, this idea of, like...
She wouldn't stop bragging about it all the time.
I wouldn't.
But yeah,
Same.
the whole, like... He asked Riker because he'd heard other people asking people. He's like, so what's the point of this question? And this, this idea of, like... It does feel different when you knew the person.
Yeah, Riker had a really good line where Data asks, like, shouldn't it be just as awful whenever anybody dies, no matter if you know them? And Riker says, well, if that were true, there'd probably be a whole lot less killing or wars. Or
Yeah,
how he words it.
human history would be a lot less bloody.
Yeah. I liked that. That was good.
Good episode.
Yeah, it was good. It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Even though the kid wasn't great.
the kid wasn't
No,
the greatest
he
actor.
He wasn't
He wasn't
He
great,
wasn't as
but he wasn't
deplorable as
awful.
most. He wasn't awful. He had weird ears.
He wasn't
I didn't
bonked
notice
on
that.
the head.
He was a little flat, was all.
Yeah, he was very emotionless, and I think that's probably why they cut a lot of the scenes that I spoke of that were deleted, just because he just had this deadpan the whole time.
I will admit, I was like, even before, like, when you first see him, before he even knows his mother is dead, he's just kind of got these weird, distant,
Yeah, he's got dead eyes. He looks like a sociopath.
Yeah, it was
I wonder if he's done much else.
When they were dragging him out of the room away from whatever, and he was supposed to look like he was fighting against, I think, Troy, it was very clear that neither of them was doing the acting that needed to make it look right.
Yeah. But still, that just goes to show the strength of the episode, that it works really well, despite the fact that there was that weak link there.
And we again get to see a pretty decent glimpse of Worf's feels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big man, deep feelings.
Yep.
These weird
Like you gotta
rituals.
figure in Worf's career, he must have had lots of people die that he's known.
Yeah.
And especially considering the whole Klingon thing, I can't imagine if someone dies on a Klingon ship that, everything stops while everybody whines about it.
Does the roar.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I'm not criticizing the episode. I think it's actually really well done, and I think it's informative.
Is that him grown up?
Yeah.
It's cute.
I don't know if I
Worf.
think he's cute yet.
I don't know what's going on here.
So
I think
we
they
found a grown up picture of him.
He's still got creepy eyes,
Looks a
though.
little like Rami Malek.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's sexy.
Oh, holy shit! He played Littlefoot in the original Land Before Time.
Huh.
Snap. They found a use for his voice. Good for them.
That's delightful. I'm delighted.
But yeah, I think you kind of wonder, Jake, with this, if there's, like, on Worf's side, if there's an additional layer of guilt. Not because they were under his command, but because, like, this was supposed to be a routine mission.
Mm.
And this is an archaeologist, someone who isn't supposed to, like...
Yeah.
Die in the line of duty.
She always like mentioned that there was that possibility, and they even tell little Jeremy like you knew this was a thing that could happen. And he's like, yep, but you never expect it will, and you're never prepared for it.
No, and especially again, like you probably assume if you're part of the archaeology corps, you're a bit safer than say the security team or the people in engineering
or the poison testers.
Yeah, which is a weird position to have. But I kind of wonder. But yeah, you're right. It is interesting to wonder how some of this stuff works in a fully Klingon ship.
Mm-hmm. They're also in that scene I was talking about with Troy. They cut some stuff where she would talk about. Now you mentioned at one point that we meet her father, right?
I think so.
Is he alive?
Whose father?
Troy's father.
I can't remember.
Oh,
okay.
I
know in this episode.
I just have a memory of meeting the father.
Wait, who was with?
I think it might have been like a memory.
Who was at the wedding? That wasn't her father?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, so there was a cutscene where she talked about her father's death and how that impacted her, and how on Beta Z, all of her relatives would just read her mind. And when she was sad and she'd want to talk about it, and she'd be like, I want to talk about my feelings, I want to, express how this is affecting me and this, that, and the other thing. They would just say, nope, no need for it, we can read your mind and figure out what you're feeling. And she's like, it was very frustrating, and this is why she was trying to talk with Jeremy and let him vent his feelings, and it was a good scene. I'll show you guys it later, it's really good.
We'll make sure to link it on the thing as well.
All right.
Anything else on the bonding, or should I move to the other? Let's walk through an old war zone and see what happens, and have fake women appear on the fucking ship.
Oh, just like the face that Michael Dorn makes of happiness and satisfaction when the little boy speaks the Klingon.
That was cute.
And they have their candles together. I just thought that was a really sweet.
They go to Yankee Candle together. That's how you test any relationship.
They're Klingon menorah.
So now that the boy is Worf's brother and a member of the House of Moog, does that now mean that if the House of Moog has to go to war, that the boy's going to have to serve?
Yes.
That'd be great. He just gets a subspace transmission on Earth years later. It's like, wait, what? I'm an accountant now.
He's been grafted into the Klingon defense.
It's like
my
that
poison testing job won't allow this.
It's that episode of South Park when Ike gets called back to Canada to fight.
Oh,
is that also is that the Tooth Decay?
I think so. Yeah,
I think it is too.
It's
the really good Royal Wedding one.
Yeah,
that fucking episode is great. Anyway,
onto the Booby Trap, which is the first Star Trek episode directed by a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
And they called it Booby Trap, real fucking mature.
And it's all about
the ladies.
Male entitlement.
Creepy dude doing creepy nice guy shit.
You know what's hilarious? Or in the original storyline, Geordi wasn't going to be the one macking on Leia. It would have been Picard.
What?
And they decided, no, that's not how fucking Picard acts.
So Picard is good with the ladies.
Also, why would he be running the engine? Well, although it would make more sense for him to be running an engineering program than, the chief engineer who, as you said, Jake, has a team?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I wrote in my notes, why is only Geordi in charge of this problem?
Yeah.
Why is only Geordi the one that has to fix this?
He's really bad.
Where's Sonia Gomez?
Because the rest of the team consists of Sonia Gomez and Barkley.
The reason
what's his name? Shimoda.
See, here's the thing. The reason why we never saw Gomez again.
He's still drunk.
Where's Argyle? He'll fix it.
Oh, he's long gone. Gomez, that's why she never turns up again, though, Because
he
Geordi creeped on her big time.
Yeah, so,
actually, she ran off with Argyle. They had a beautiful wedding on Risa.
This is a pretty famous episode. It's pretty well regarded, but it's definitely interesting.
Especially given recent events, I just keep thinking of Geordi becoming like a fucking incel. And just blowing up the fucking Enterprise.
It opens with that
sex with him.
fucking cringe fest of a day.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
How the fuck did he program this violining gypsy?
Also,
that's a good idea? No.
Gypsy?
And that's also Roma people.
Romani.
There you go.
What I
That's
kind
what
of
it said
love.
in the synopsis I read.
I know. I think
Romani or Gypsy?
Gypsy.
No, he legit called it a gypsy
because
violinist.
I don't think they had. I think the terms were not.
No, totally.
In the late
totally.
'80s, were
No,
not quite worked
totally.
out.
Also, Christy was wearing a weird sweater, so I was like, you know what, dude, you're made out all right.
You know what I noticed?
Also, why are you dating a girl Wesley? Weird sweaters.
I mean, it is kind of odd that like she would agree to go on this date with him, like.
Okay, but I'm going to stop you right there.
All right,
okay?
stop me right there.
Because I have a friend who this has happened to, where a guy's like, hey, do you want to hang out? And she's like, yeah. And then halfway through, it's like, JK, it's a date. And she's like, oh, you didn't really make that implicit, so
you think she didn't know it was a date?
No, I think he was just nice guying around, being like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to just touch you with my foot.
Let's go hang out
now that's your
in
date.
the holodeck on the beach with
Yeah,
Gypsy.
I've got this great new program. Do you want to check it out?
Okay, yeah.
See, here's the thing. When, like, if just talking as a female who exists in the world. Yes, a female. There are times you feel like, I have to go on a date with you then, because you asked.
And the rest is history.
Awkward.
Ames, do you need help? No, we're on. Ames, blink twice if you need help.
I can't blink.
Okay.
She's what's the term I want here?
I don't know.
Resigned herself at this point.
I mean, at least she
Me
had
or Chris?
the nuts to be like,
Yes.
yeah, this date's over. You fucking loser.
Nice weird violin
I liked
with Fruit Loop.
I liked watching the ocean, but once this violinist came in, I realized, nope.
So they make it
Story
a
of
point
my
of
life.
like it's such a big deal for Geordi that he's going on a date with a girl that like Wesley and Data know all about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Wesley of all, like, you tell
I
him, like,
guess-
Wesley, I have a date. I made this great hologram program. I added a gypsy violinist.
Maybe I just have.
I bet Wesley
And-
came up with the gypsy violinist.
Did
Wesley
you-
was like, how about a gypsy violinist? Girls really love casual racism
Did
and
you
violin
notice
music.
he was violining Johannes Brahms?
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, holy shit.
Foreshadowing.
So what I kind of enjoyed with that scene, and by enjoyed I mean thought it was kind of silly. Apparently, Geordi thinks he's a Power Ranger because even though he's not in his uniform, he's still in yellow.
I didn't even notice he wasn't in his uniform.
Yeah, his shirt
That's
was
because
yellow.
That's because that was for the audience because they wouldn't recognize him without the uniform.
He has the
Jake, I'm gonna
visor.
stop you right there. There are no other black people on the ship.
Worf.
He's not black, he's a Klingon.
There was that guy who got his head
Klingon.
exploded by Nagilum.
He doesn't count, he's dead.
There were black extras.
Guinan.
A woman.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
Presenting person.
Speaking of black extras, this this
Oh.
is no, it's
What
not
is
weird.
happening
It's not
now?
weird, I swear. In the script, like she wasn't originally Leah Brahms. She was something or other Daystrom, and would have been a descendant of Daystrom from the Ultimate Computer.
Oh, neat.
But the casting department didn't realize that meant that she should probably be black, and they didn't cast a black person.
Well, a century later.
Yeah, she could be a descendant or,
No, this girl was milk white.
Yeah, well, but
She
think
could
of how
also
many
be adopted.
You would
in.
at least have a
So
goddamn
if Daystrom
tan.
was like 100 years earlier,
Yeah.
right, and we can assume, I mean, Daystrom was probably already in his 40s or 50s, so he might already have had children. If Daystrom had children with a white lady, and then those children
Pigmentation DNA is some weird
married
stuff.
off white, I feel like there's enough potential that if everybody except Daystrom in the lineage was white, you could have
Yeah,
a
it
milky
could-
white
it could
person.
work.
Yeah, but like Ames just said, on the other hand, you might wind up with a child 3 generations later who's darker than Daystrom ever was because
That's true.
pigmentation
And also, like,
is so
can you,
interesting.
like, I don't know if it would have been as big a deal in the 80s, but if they made a show now and where a white character showed up as the descendant of a black character,
That's true.
That
There
would not
are-
fly.
those are some bad
That
optics.
would not fly.
Oh, it would be terrible.
So yeah,
Well,
good choice on changing the character name. Didn't she say that she went to the Daystrom Institute?
Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
Oh, there you go. So they at least like
So they left a little Daystrom connection there.
Yeah. There's your Easter egg.
Yeah.
this episode's got a little Daystrom in it, if you know what I mean. I don't know what I mean.
I don't know either.
Sorry.
But that's interesting because the Daystrom episode was about computer, the ultimate computer eventually having to be outsmarted by a human.
Yeah.
And this episode was all about how Geordi's like, oh no, the computer will save us. And then the answer was...
Actually, no.
No, the human will save us.
I felt like I got sidetracked a lot in this episode just because whenever they were talking engineering stuff, it started getting weirdly either too complex or too boring until they finally got to the end where it's like, oh, okay, you figured out what you're going to do. Now I can watch the show instead of just watching all the fucking innuendo coming out of Leia's mouth.
So, like,
what's coming out of her mouth.
I was going to say this.
let's think this through, right? I think there is a chance the Enterprise computer is sentient and that it wants to fuck Geordi bad. Because it had to give Leia her personality. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was supposedly based on some talk she gave and something else. But all this talk like, oh yes, whenever you do this and that, it's me. It's like, this is the computer confessing its long-standing love of Geordi, and
Geordi's
he's
gonna
not
go
getting
find its tailpipe.
Yeah.
The thing's gotta have a tailpipe.
Been playing too much, that one with the computer and Seth Green. Holy shit, why can't I think of what that fucking trilogy was called?
Is it a movie?
No, it was a game.
With Seth Green?
And 7.
Oh, Mass Effect.
That's it. Too much Mass Effect.
Oh,
Seth Green
yeah,
wind up dating
that's
the computer?
Right.
Does he fuck a
Seth
car?
Green was in Mass Effect?
Yeah, he plays the pilot.
Who named Joker, who looks exactly like Seth Green.
Yeah, they
sounds
basically
a lot
just-
like Seth
yeah.
Green also.
I've never played those games.
But yeah, no, in the second one, he...
Interesting theory, Caitlin.
the ship in the second one has this, like, artificial intelligence. And then it gets a...
Corporeal
needlessly
form.
voluptuous robot body in the third one.
Disagree on the needlessly part.
And needless to say, they try to work out some interfaces.
Ooh.
I forgot all about that.
No, I mean, there's plenty of ways to fuck the computer on the Enterprise, though. Like
It's gotta have one of those R2-D2 ports around somewhere,
just gotta find, like, a plasma conduit.
I mean,
or something.
somewhere in the, computer core / Klingon therapy room, there's probably something.
Yeah, but Worf's probably already been there.
Stick
No,
your-
'cause it's only
stick
designed
your
for
dick
single
in the
dick people.
EPS system. It'll light on fire.
Oh, God.
EPS system. Oh, that's like ATM machine. Oh, I fucked it up.
Also, actually, to my point, that was kind of a joke, but it's becoming less of a joke the more I talk about it. It's the computer that sort of made Brahms based on a vague direction. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I guess I did ask for that?
And could you make her
true.
capable of defeating Data?
Yeah, really.
Yes. Yeah, I read the synopsis for this, and all it says is, like, oh, the computer... Geordi accidentally causes the computer to create a woman for him. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if he says, like, oh, I wish you were here to help me with this thing. And then that would make sense. That would be directly telling the computer to do a thing.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever the fuck it is he actually says.
Like, he just show me.
Yeah.
Which I think he thought would mean the computer would light up a panel, not make up.
He also talks to himself a fucking lot when he's working.
True.
Guys, he has no friends.
He's not Wesley.
Now, it was perfectly fine.
No, Wesley actually has a couple of friends his own age. Geordi is friends with Wesley and Data. A child and a fucking robot.
And that's going back to what I was saying about Geordi and the fact that he was told them so much about this date that he had planned. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have that kind of relationship with my guy friends, but I feel like I might be like, oh yeah, I'm going on a date with Chrissy, or oh yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with Chrissy tonight. I would be like, oh guys, I got the violinist guy. Chrissy.
It was Christy, wasn't it? Or Krista?
I don't
Christy,
know,
yeah.
Christy, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And the fact that, the way he got upset, too, in the holodeck, like, I get it, he was disappointed.
Yeah.
But he just, like, started,
Yeah.
fine. It's just like, it's just fucking...
I put all this nice in. Time to put out some sex, bitch.
Yeah, there was a
brought
lot of
you
entitlement in that scene.
Coco Onos, which is a terrible name
Yeah,
for a
what the
drink.
fuck was that? What is a Coco no-no?
I don't know.
Yeah, what was this episode about? Aside
It
from
was about...
Geordi
Booby
trying
Trap.
to get his dick wet.
Yeah, it was about escaping this asteroid field full of radiation and ancient ships that are still attacking somehow.
So Geordi wanted to fuck the computer, and Picard wanted to fuck that corpse on the alien.
My counterpart.
Did that really happen?
Well, not literally, but...
I mean,
The way he looked at that desiccated corpse was...
He was thinking, which ocular cavity should I put my dick in first? And why is he Sean Connery again?
I don't know. He should be Indiana Jones.
Number
Sean
one,
Connery.
how many of these data units do you think I can jam up my asshole?
More than we have, sir.
Sir, if you just asked, I would gladly join you.
Oh my.
I was going to say
not
that
my
Sean...
data unit.
Oh, gross.
I don't know. I'd watch Data. I'd watch Data fuck Picard.
I'm
just
sure
for yucks.
there's
Oh,
art.
it's out there for sure.
Speaking of, was Picard the bald man that was kind to Guinan? Or is that somebody else?
Wow.
I think
Yes.
they leave
But
it
are
specifically
all bald
vague.
men the same
I
to
mean,
you?
it's I don't spoil.
Is Guinan gonna fuck
this-
Picard? Because that would be
God, I
awesome.
hope not.
More
Why
like God, I
not?
hope so.
I don't know, I feel like their relationship...
Granted, she's got to fuck Riker, is what we determined earlier.
Yeah, that I'm fine. I just feel like, I don't know, from what I know of their relationship, I feel like it's one of those relationships that just only works platonically. I don't think they should be fuck buddies.
Who?
Guinan and Picard.
Oh no.
Picard
no.
and Pulaski definitely should have had some hate fuck though.
A little bit, yeah.
I missed that.
But yeah, Guinan and Riker.
When
if
she
they
was
wanna,
done with Worf.
When she was done getting stuffed with crumpets.
But yeah, if Riker and Guinan want to fuck, I am totally down with it.
I liked that Guinan was like lying to Geordi about what a great guy he was. You're working on me now. No, he's not.
Aww.
Don't fucking lie,
No,
Guinan.
she was saying she wasn't like you're getting me wet. She was like
she wasn't like you're getting me wet.
no, she was like you're eat like because Geordi was talking like here's how I'm imagining Geordi asking Christy out was. It wasn't on screen, but here's how I'm imagining.
Do you think
it.
he was jerking
You
off
play
while he
you
does
play
it?
Christy, okay?
Okay.
Like Christy.
You both play Christy.
Yeah.
Two Christy.
Siamese.
Why does Christy
Alright,
have
so
two
I'm
heads?
So I'm because aliens.
One for his dick and one for his
who do I
balls.
get to
It's
be?
perfect.
You can be Wesley, who I brought with me for moral support. Okay, here we go. I'm Geordi now.
Hi, Geordi.
Christy,
How are you today, Jordy?
do you like Yoko Ono's? I mean Coco Ono's. Hold on. Okay, that was
And I have to assume that she then says, "Come on, my tits, Geordi."
Do you want to go to holodeck sometime and we can drink some Coconos? hey, Wes. Could you wipe this up for me?
Don't make me go back to HR.
No, here's the thing: if that's how he actually
I
asked
almost
Christy
passed
out,
out from doing that.
Not to mention your raging boner.
yeah, I was gonna say.
All the blood just left my head.
No. Yeah, but if he actually asked her out that way, I can't imagine she'd be like, "Yeah."
I mean, I was exaggerating for dramatic effect, but that's probably more or less how the conversation went.
You think he was actually touching his dick while he asked her out?
He probably has like a little like mechanical dick.
That's what those
Toucher.
nanites
Ooh,
in West
He's
made
got
it
like
for.
he's got like an automated stroker in there.
I mean, it's the future. Why wouldn't you?
Everyone should.
I would.
Holy shit! I would be coming all day.
Exactly. Anyway,
So yeah, this episode though, Picard doing some fancy flying. That was cool.
I thought he was playing Pac-Man.
That too.
yeah. I still think it would have been better if he had deployed the manual steering column.
That hasn't been invented yet.
That's true.
apparently.
But like, because like I always feel like doing any kind of precision flying
with buttons like
with
that,
buttons
Yeah,
like
no,
that
makes
with no
sense.
feedback, like because so you know that this show came out at a time in the 80s when
1989.
The
Like-
Vidya games.
like when they're like, oh well, everything will be touchscreen in the
Yeah.
future, and by and large they were right. I mean, everyone's cell phone now,
Yeah.
Set
tablets.
games.
So touchscreens really have taken over. The one thing that they didn't get right is that even with those things, you're still going to want some haptic feedback.
Yeah.
Because those screens, I don't know. I just can't see how this thing's working.
Whoever came up with haptic feedback is a genius.
What's haptic feedback?
That's
when something vibrates when you touch it.
yeah. Your phone like gives you a little
Like when I start driving off the road in Mario Kart, and the controller's like, "Stop doing that."
Yeah,
or when you do it in real life, in the side of the road that's ribbed tells you to stop doing that.
That's the controller as well.
In fact, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is the first implementation of haptic feedback, but the Rumble Pack for the Nintendo 64
Oh yeah.
was like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
So it could be you could credit Nintendo with that technology.
I was
Rumble strips?
I was actually
Yes.
going to give you shit and be like, oh yeah, well I used to play Star Fox with those buttons, but then I remember that the N64 had a joystick,
It did have
Yep.
a joystick.
and it was the bomb.com.
But again, even that even goes back to TOS. They didn't have, Sulu didn't have a steering column. He had
No,
buttons.
he did have buttons. But then again, they weren't. I never got the sense that they were doing much precision flying. It's like, because I always imagine these starships as being like aircraft carriers, where it's like you set the course,
Yeah.
and then it goes, and if you turn, it's going to take you
1,000.
Yeah, you're not going to turn 90 degrees in anything less than 8 miles.
Yeah, no, that's true. But they have shown the Enterprise D-Beam before this doing much more like sharper turns than you'd think that thing could make.
I have to say, as nice as I give them credit for the effects, but the slingshot around the asteroid
Oh my God, it
effect
was so silly.
It was so lame.
It just looked like he'd fucked up.
Like
We're now just tumbling
No.
through space.
He was Tokyo drifting that shit.
But like also that it stopped. It was it's just there was nothing. I know that they were limited by the cameras and the rigging that they had to do with the models, but
And probably also the budget.
Listen. Data was soundly impressed. But it's a little weird because Data should understand how fucking slingshot effects work as an android.
We know what it comes down to. It's him revealing that he grossly underestimated Picard. It's like, oh, your soft, squishy brain does understand slingshot effects. Good for you.
You should have had Data fucking pilot it.
Yeah, you'd think.
No, because he's a computer, Ames.
I mean,
And we need a human to do it.
No, we didn't need a human.
Intuition!
We just needed to turn the fucking ship off. That was
Use
the
the
trick.
Force, Luke.
Like I almost feel like I never recall hearing anyone profess that Picard was like a particularly gifted pilot. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
show
but-
don't tell.
But apparently Wesley was the other option, so I'm sort of glad we went
Yeah.
with Picard.
Jordy
also.
wanted to do it himself.
I also feel like maybe you haven't heard it yet, but in the future
he's
we
blind.
find out that Riker is like a really good pilot. But again,
He makes a terrible scrambled egg, though.
no, that was an omelet.
No, that was it's an even worse fucking
Yeah.
omelet, isn't it?
yeah.
Christ.
And to be fair, they might have been perfectly serviceable scrambled eggs. It just happened to be that the eggs were nasty.
Worf loved him.
Well, Worf likes gach.
And poison tea.
Get that poison tester out here. I really liked Picard's ship in a bottle discussion. That was really cute.
I love the.
Oh yeah, did O'Brien
I was
actually
never
do
a
it or
boy.
not? Yeah,
That was
a boy. You're so fucking cute.
That was funny because I actually, he's like, did no one here play with ships in a bottle as a boy? And Worf is like pretending he doesn't have a model back in his.
We've seen
I
him
never
building
seen
a
some-
fucking model
but
ship
it,
before.
but it
But no
wasn't in
one-
a bottle.
but it wasn't in
God
a bottle.
damn it.
And also, he's not admitting to that. Is the
Yeah,
thing.
he like jammed.
No,
it in
I
the
didn't
drawer.
catch you playing with your dolls again, sir.
Also, you can just transport the ship inside the bottle.
That's true.
And make
It's
it
a lot easier now. That's
But
how
remember,
O'Brien
French-
did it.
But remember that French is a dead language, and Picard might be several decades older than he looks.
Also, you could be
So,
like,
maybe
computer,
it wasn't-
replicate me one ship in a bottle.
Dude, that's what I would do.
But yeah, after Worf was like, no, I was like, and Data never was a boy. And then he actually said it. And I was like, oh, well, touche, show.
And then that fucking brown noser O'Brien over there. I did, sir.
Do you think he really did? Or do you think O'Brien was just trying to make him feel better?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because O'Brien really doesn't have many friends down
He's
there.
trying to climb the ladder. Up the long ladder.
Yeah, because he's Irish.
It's okay, he's gonna have a hot wife soon, I'm told.
He's going to have Keiko.
I heard she's hot.
She's okay.
Yeah, she's fine.
Well, alright.
I'm just too busy
They're
trying to...
disappointed then.
She's attractive. I have such a sour taste in my mouth because I just don't like her. She's fine in TNG, I think, but I think in DS9 she I don't know.
She cunts it up?
O'Brien just has such a hard life. Poor bastard. And she never cuts him any slack.
He just wants to make his model, ship in a bottle models in peace.
I mean, actually, that's interesting because this is a little, not a spoiler, but in DS9, he does like building models.
Does he? So maybe so maybe he really
so
did.
Maybe there is maybe that's a bit of continuity.
There we go.
Because I was really thinking, like, is he... As that whole bit was unfolding, it's almost like he had drawn the short straw, like, oh, yes, I did, sir. I played with ships and bottles.
Yeah, no, because in DS9, he and Julian built like models of battlefields and shit together.
So
And then they play Warcraft 40K
That's
or
pretty
whatever
much,
the
they
fuck.
go into the holodeck and play fighter pilots all the time.
really, I forgot about that.
Nerds.
Picard says, as he's looking at the ship and he's got his hard Indiana Picard boner on, and he says, this belongs in a museum. Like, I was wondering, like, what do museums in the 24th century look like? Are they just like
Well,
a
apparently
little
they're fucking
ferry
huge.
that just brings you around to various ships in a ship graveyard?
Well, I mean, there are naval museums now, so it's just like that, but
if
in
you go
space.
to,
And enormous.
well, there's like the Smithsonian has like not just there's the Smithsonian buildings on the National Mall, but then there's also like an off-site place to go look at big shit like airplanes and space shuttles and stuff. So there could be like. So in the future, you might have the Smithsonian, when the same as it is today, and then you have like the airplane still, and then part of the tour is you shoot up to orbit and you see some, oh look, there's the NX-01.
So they keep the museum
whatever.
in orbit?
Possibly, I could see that.
What if your orbit starts to decay?
That's true. I mean, we'll eventually learn that the Phoenix is at the Smithsonian, so whether it's in space or it's on display on the ground. Who knows? Is it ever explained, to anyone's knowledge, how the United States takes over the world in Star Trek? Because
The United States take over the world?
well, everybody who's in charge is American. Although I guess the capital is in Paris.
Yeah.
Is it?
And French is a dead language? What kind of sense does this make?
I'm guessing America takes over France.
Well, yeah, but
And then they're like, Paris is a better city than DC, so we'll set up shop here.
except for all the fucking people.
But yeah, no, the capital of the Federation's in Paris, but then Starfleet headquarters is in San Francisco.
But Starfleet is just like the army.
Yeah, but Starfleet is the Federation, let's be honest.
All right, Admiral Layton.
Who?
No, we haven't met him yet.
Oh. I was saying, it's that's the problem, of course, is like, because we only ever see the Federation from the point of view of Starfleet personnel, it's just like, what does the Federation look like to civilians? Like, how much of their consciousness is Starfleet?
It's kind of creepy, actually, to think, because for all we know, Starfleet could be the fucking Third Reich.
So
And we
it's
just don't
interesting
know,
that so
right?
the Admiral Layton joke. That's a reference to a DS9 episode, which addresses this very problem. About like martial law and like how that works. And I just remember that episode guest stars, in addition to character playing Admiral Layton, plays a captain named Captain Benteen,
Okay.
played by the actress that plays Brahms.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
funny.
What a
Small world.
coinky-dink.
Yeah.
I like her hair. At least from the front. From the back, it looked a little weird, but the weird swoopy
She was
design.
wearing like a half sweater. It was weird.
Yeah, well, as far as civilian clothing goes in TNG, she's not doing too bad for herself.
She's better than a Christie.
True, that outfit was terrible.
I didn't even notice what Christy was wearing.
so do
I
you
was
think,
too
like-
busy being distracted by the fucking gypsy violinist.
So do you think Christy, was she a Starfleet person, do you think, or was she a civilian?
I mean,
Or
I
was she
assumed,
another
but it never
hologram?
occurred to me to wonder.
Because
She
now,
could
what
just
if
be
she was...
working in the kitchens or something.
Well, maybe she was working in engineering and she felt like she had to date. She had to go on the date.
Ooh, that's
No,
awful.
I hope she's not working in engineering. That would make me sad.
That'd be really awkward. Well,
I feel like engineers wouldn't dress
we
like
don't
that.
know where Sonia
I
went.
feel like they're more fashionable.
I
Told
we-
you, she ran off with
We do
Argyle.
know where Sonia went. I told you.
Sonia's been reassigned.
Now, Sonia probably fucking fell into the warp core one day trying to do routine maintenance.
She fell into the warp
dumbass.
core accidentally
After Geordi pushed her.
after declining the advances from Geordi. Geordi. Yeah, this is like the first of more than
This episode.
Yeah, there's at least 2 more episodes that I can think of that are like, oh, Geordi, you're taking it too far.
Yikes.
Oh, I look forward to being uncomfortable during those.
Yeah. And one of them is like one of the worst episodes of the show.
Why does it gotta be Geordie? Poor Geordie.
I don't know. Like they
It
just
sucks because LeVar Burton is
because
great.
here's the thing, right? I think the writers are like, let's make a character that is awkward with women to give our fans who might be awkward with women someone that they can identify with and connect with.
How many nerds do you think hired gypsy violinists?
Well,
in
that's
this episode?
but I could see like that's why that's like because that's kind of like I can picture somebody being uncomfortable talking to a lady.
Because that's how I picture Star Trek fans.
Exactly. I mean, we're obviously all extremely successful.
I'm masturbating right now. Wait, what are you talking about?
But I don't know that everybody is. And, like, I get the impulse on the part of the writers to be like, look, you see, even you can have a normal relationship with a computer.
Wow.
Jesus.
If you keep striking out with the ladies, just bang the CD drive.
Oh, that would hurt.
I don't think
You'd have to have a
they
really
didn't have
teeny, skinny dick to fuck a
CD-ROM drives in 1989, I don't think, but 5.5-inch floppies. Or hards.
Well, I was going to say, if you had a 5.5-inch floppy, you'd have quite the hard drive, and I could imagine that helping your case with the ladies, possibly.
I don't know.
No,
I don't think that's what women... That's not what all women want.
What, dick? That's true. Some women are
There are showers and growers, Caitlin.
lesbians.
So a 5.5-inch floppy does not necessarily translate to...
No, that's true. They could be just a shower.
That's right.
That's true.
It's a shame they couldn't have found a way to salvage the ship. But, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's something fusion something was still intact.
Well, that's the thing, though. I feel like they could have taken out the suckers.
Really, if anything, they should have done that anyway, just because even though there's not a ship there now, it doesn't mean that, like, some mining concern isn't going to swoop in and be like, let's see what's in the... Oh, we're going to die.
Oh, I kind of thought that the gigantic explosion took care of all the suckers.
Oh, maybe.
I felt like... Yeah, I don't know.
But I also, at some point, kind of wondered if... And now it's been clarified in my mind, but for a little bit I was kind of like... Was that ship actually part of the trap?
No, it was just caught in it.
Yeah, I think it was caught in it.
But I'm saying, like, earlier on, I kind of wondered that.
That's
now,
fair.
How clean did the air on that ship have to be?
Right?
For those bodies not to decompose over 1,000 years.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's...
I mean, it is the future.
I mean, do they have no microbiome? Because I feel like your own microbes would eventually cause your body to break down if they were alive. And it wasn't a
HEPA filter. I don't know.
And it couldn't have been a vacuum because Data even says there's atmosphere on the ship.
Maybe it had been, like, deactivated and they just remotely got it back on or something.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there a time when they beamed a big pocket of air into a space? Or am I making that up?
That might be an episode we haven't seen.
I was going to say, it may happen, but
I feel like I thought that was something we already saw, but it might be something that we haven't seen yet.
Was it the water that came with the whales?
Maybe.
Oh,
there'd be whales.
I feel like there was a time when there's like, oh, we have to beam into a place that has no air, so we're going to beam a big bunch of air over there, and then it'll be safe for a little while.
That's when you just put them in a fucking suit.
Yeah, who wants to wear a suit?
Who has the budget for a suit?
Just put something small over your nose. Think about CPAP machines. You're trying to tell me they don't just have some shit you can just stuff in your
Obi-Wan
nostrils?
and Qui-Gon Jinn swam all the way to Gunga City with those little breathy things.
True. Ames, when you looked up this episode, was there anything about the model on the desk in the lab? I meant to ask about that.
Oh, with the nacelles oddly
weird
in the wrong orientation.
Yeah.
It looked like a Constitution class refit, but the nacelles were on
like
their side.
they took them off and then
I noticed that too. I thought that was funny.
I don't think I saw it mentioned.
Okay, yeah,
I'm guessing like they gave like the model kit to some intern, was like, here,
They
build this
fucked it
model,
up.
and they're like, I can't.
O'Brien
that
did
looks
it.
alright.
O'Brien isn't that good at building
You
models.
very briefly see a Galaxy
poor
class
O'Brien.
model. You very briefly see a Galaxy class model, but then you also see that silver Constitution model with, like you said, the weird nacelles. Which at first like, oh, presumably that's the Enterprise. It's like, but it's got fucked up nacelles. What the shit?
Maybe it was like
What the shit?
Maybe here's an idea though. Maybe it was to suggest, this is the design room. This was the drafting room.
So this
is like an earlier
version
of the Constitution class. We're like, oh, maybe we'll put them on this way. Nah.
That looks silly.
No, that's dumb. That's dumb as fuck.
I'll buy that. I like that. Headcanon.
Yeah, perfect.
Boom.
So, do we have anything left to say about the Booby Trap?
Yeah.
Just Booby Trap.
Yeah, I actually like both of these episodes this week.
Yeah, they're
Me
good.
too. It was good.
I think I did get lost in the boring elements of Booby Trap, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it did get a little Trek-no-babbly.
Yeah, I like it.
Technobabble.
I think it had some heart. I think...
Unlike
you know,
Picard.
I think the Geordi creepiness factor is something that we will continue to revisit, and it's going to be really rich when Geordi tries to talk to somebody else about their hollow addiction problem. But anyway, that's interesting. So if they had gone with the original script for the bonding, then there would have been even more similarities between these two episodes, because it would have been another person falling in love in the holodeck, only with the mom instead of Leah Brahms. Anywho, I think that's all we got for this week. So next week we'll be talking about 2 additional episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Geordi falls in love with a Romulan in The Enemy.
Really?
Not really, but
okay.
you'll see.
She's not Leia Brahms, so you can't.
Is she Leah Abrams?
The Price is Right in The Price. Yeah.
Bob Barker?
Bob Barker guest starred on Star Trek.
Stop.
Yeah.
Is he lying? You're lying.
It wasn't actually. It was Rod Roddy.
I don't know who that is.
He was the announcer for The Price is
I
Right.
still think you're lying.
I am lying. No. We will be covering The Enemy and The Price next week on A Star to Steer Her By. Good night.
Good night.
What?
Oh, shit. We got to do more.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to. It's okay.
All right.
Cut it there.
We'll bang this one out. All right. Find us on your social media platforms at Facebook and on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast.
Woo.
On Facebook, search for Star to Steer Her By Podcast. We're also on Tumblr and Twitter at SSHB Podcast. _? No, one word.
No,
All right, that's right. Oh, one word. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or Google or any iTunes that you might have. Or iPod, any iPod cast that you have. Or Android cast. I don't know. That's why it's called podcast, because it was originally you would download them to your iPod. Anywho, okay, so we did the social media, we did the episodes. I don't think there's anything else to say.
That's your name.
Except this has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
And this is always Caitlin.
Thank you for listening.
You want a Coco No-No?
P.S. There actually is a porn site called BigSausagePizza.com. If you don't believe me, you should look it up yourself. And it may or may not involve pizza delivery men who have cut holes into the bottom of their pizza, a la the old popcorn trick at the movie theater. And when the unsuspecting
Does
porn
that still
person...
exist?
You're going to get pizza grease all over your face.
I mean,
Why are we
here's the thing.
advertising Big Sausage
Ames,
Pizza?
Ames, it's a prop. It's not a real pizza.
It's not even a real pizza? You don't even get pizza when you're
Ames,
done?
it's porn. I don't
Well, then why do you get a pizza out of this
That would be
fucking thing?
disgusting, because it'd be like, man, your dick smells of cheese.
Dick cheese.
Your dick smells strongly of cheese
how
and
is-
pizza grease.
this is now
You're
the
actually
second-
right. I actually don't know if BigSausagePizza.com still exists. Let's
Second
find
week
out.
in a row, we have discussed pornography on an episode.
Well, we're really fucking
Only that
horny.
many?
Is that a mushroom
I thought it would be every
tip?
week.
Well, I mean, we've probably discussed it before, but I mean, this will now be 2 in a row.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty more.
Oh, I got some ground pepper in my
So-
urethra! Oh, geez.
Oh no, in my urethra! So, unfortunately, it seems that BigSausagePizza.com no longer exists. So
No.
please ignore everything I have
Rolling
said.
out?
So here's the thing,
Jesus.
you're fucking kidding around, but when I was in college, those 60-second,
That's the thing, we've got better resources for pornography now. Anyway.
I don't know, they were pretty good.
I only use custom-made pornography.
What does that mean?
I have a team of women in Ukraine that monthly send me interesting videos.
You
that they
send
have
them your
crafted
script
for
every
me.
month.
Do you have Trump's pee-pee tape? You do, don't you?
Of course I do. That's my favorite one. Top of the stack, baby. That's my warm-up.
Oh,
My closer is
quarter of an
John
hour
Boehner.
in, let's start talking
Oh my
about the
God.
episodes.
Are we really?
About what? PP tapes?
No.
Oh God.
This is a shout out to Chris Caesar. PP tapes.